Well, how are we doing on this Monday afternoon? I'm on the front porch, got sunglasses on because it's brighter than hell out here. Wind is blowing some. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt the video as much, but it is blowing. Thank God it's not like it was on Friday. Friday we had a massive rainstorm from about 4 o'clock in the morning till like about, I don't know, 10 or 11-ish in the morning. And then from about 11 till 11 in the afternoon till like almost 10 or 11 o'clock at night, we had like 65 to 75 mile-an-hour winds blowing like crazy, man. There was shit flying all over the place. Broken, I mean, our power went out for like 12 hours, so to say, give or take. It went out, came on, went out, came on, flickered like 4 or 5 times, and then went completely out. And then, you know, it was like internet was out, you know, nothing worked. Kind of like pandemonium, kind of chaos kind of stuff, but you know, it's expected, you know, it's Mother Nature, it happens. Now, since all this crap took place and everything, I mean, I got small messes to clean up right now, more so than I did beforehand, but it's okay, because what I'm doing is I'm collecting up all the branches and all the twigs and everything that broke out of the trees and covered my yard, and I'm burning them in a metal barrel. But I'm not gonna let it get, you know, like multiple levels of ash. After like a few hours of a good burn, I let the coals cool down. Then, like we did this afternoon, me and Junior, we dumped them in the wheelbarrow. And I took the ashes and I stuck them in my raised bed boxes, stuff like that. You know, the wind's gonna blow around a little bit, but for the most part, most of the ash is in the raised bed. And then probably, I don't know, maybe this week, sometime coming up, or weekend coming up, I'll go retrieve a few bags of compost and mulch kind of mixed together, and before I fill my beds up, I'll make sure I go to Walmart and buy me a few containers of fishing worms and dump them aside there, then put dirt on top of them and, you know, let them do their magic inside the raised bed. And yeah, earthworms or night crawlers or however you want to call them, they are great for plants, especially for gardening. I know of a couple people that will order ladybugs and take them out and sprinkle them across their garden. And I know ladybugs are really good for your plants, eat the aphids and everything else, but here's my thing. They'll fly away. You know, why would you spend that much money on ladybugs to eat the aphids when, if there's nothing there for them to eat, they're going to fly away to find someplace else. So you just throw your money up in the air. And some of y'all probably say the same thing about worms. Oh, you put worms in your bed, they're going to go away. No, because I have a barrier on the bottom part of the ground, which will take a few years for it to break down, for the worm to get through the barrier into the ground. So they're going to be inside the bed doing their magic the whole time they're in the dirt. But it is what it is. Now, I know this really doesn't pertain to much of any of you all. There's the group I belong to on Facebook, which is the Rendezvous Farmers Market page, where I go for my market and stuff like that. Last year, I caught so much flack from people saying, "You're selling your eggs too cheap, you're selling your eggs too cheap." And a few people that run the venue told me that I couldn't make any money on selling my eggs for $2 and $3 a dozen. But there's like 50 or 60 people now since the egg prices went crazy. All of a sudden now people went out and bought chickens and they're selling eggs for about $3 a dozen. I just wanted to be the smart ass and be like, you know, when I was at market selling mine for $3 a dozen, everybody kept saying you couldn't make a profit on $3 a dozen. And I'd want to be that smart ass and say it, but I just kept my mouth shut and I'm not going to say anything. But I do know once the time comes around for me to get the ball rolling, to getting prepared for the 16th of April, I'm definitely have to put online so a majority of the people understand. I don't take Cash App, I don't take your debit card, don't take a check card, I don't use PayPal, I don't take Venmo. So when you come to my table, you better have cash in your pocket, because that's the only thing that's going to work. I had the same people for a year almost, last year and the year before, like two seasons of the market, put you like that, that would come to my table. You take a card? Dumbass, I done told you the last 400 times, no, I do not take a card. And all the time, the same person, well, that's not same person, but the same persons, I should say, would come up to me. You take a card? No, dumbass, I don't take a card. I don't own a cell phone. If I don't own a cell phone, why would I take a card? And it gets aggravating. Then I actually had somebody make me a sign. I hang them from the canopy that says cash only, no card. And I still get people walking up. You take a card? And I just point to the sign at the top of the corner of the canopy. I'm like, didn't you read the fucking sign? It's crazy. People are stupid nowadays. They really are. Their faces are stuck in a cell phone, and yeah, it seems like that's all there is. But, you know, what are you gonna do? But I've been slowly gathering things around the yard, taking care of, getting things ready for market, getting things ready for garden season. Ever since this past weekend, there's all kinds of new crap in the yard I gotta clean up and pick up. There's insulation in my yard that came from somebody's place somewhere around here. I gotta get that picked up. I gotta take trash out tonight and make sure of that, because they come in the morning. Let's see. But I'm gonna revert. The only thing, this was comical, man, we had our trees were blowing like this from the wind. There was shit flying all over the place. Stuff was blowing around the yard. My porch swing, like your canopy little swing thing you had, metal frame, I actually had that bungee strapped to the porch, and it was like blowing sideways like this, and the swing part was out like this, and I got remnants of it all over the porch. Of course, after it slowed down a little bit, I came out here and picked the pieces up and put it back to the side. So many things were blowing around like crazy, and the only thing that did not move is my steel on the table here. It didn't move an inch. The worm didn't move. The thumper didn't move. Everything sat in one spot and did not move an inch. But the wind, you know, like I said, between 60 and 75 mile an hour wind, blowing like crazy, and it didn't even move. Everything else on top of the porch blew off or flew over or moved about half a foot or so, and yeah, that didn't move an inch. And I was waiting for it to fly off the porch and come out here and have to retrieve it. And but yeah, it didn't move an inch. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But and it's empty. There's nothing in it. It's you know, it's a 10-gallon steel, completely empty, but it did not move an inch. Crazy as it may seem, but it didn't move. And I started, truthfully honestly, I started to come out here Friday afternoon, or like mid to late afternoon, and videotape all the trees blowing like crazy and stuff. But the reason why I didn't is if you live in a region like the Ohio Valley region or the Midwest region, you see that stuff all the time when the storm comes through. So why videotape it? You know, I mean, yeah, it was around here. It was kind of a fluke because we did have like Class 2 and Class 3 hurricane winds in my area. Our low dropped so low that we actually broke a record for the lowest barometer pressure in this region ever. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you walk outside and your ears would pop because the low was so low that, you know, it was weird. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, everybody sees, you know, high wind all the time, stuff like that. So, you know, the closest thing that I can say as close to this as possible is if anybody ever drove over the road or traveled in the wintertime going across I-40 from like Texas to say California area-ish on I-40, or even I-70, maybe I-80, possibly around that area, but really around I-40 and I-10, if you ever drove through the Santa Ana winds, that is as close to that as I can describe how it was around here for hours. I mean, non-stop for hours. And but yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that is really the closest thing I can really say turbulent wind wise is as close to that as possible. But yeah, it was wind. Now, I made a joke to one of the guys I was talking to that kind of came by here. I said, man, you know what I wish I had? He said, what's that? I said, you know those home style wind generator things people sell online? I said, man, if I had like 3 or 4 of them puppies out here, I'd be cranking electricity like crazy. But here's the thing too, I live on top of a hill. Now the hill has been shaved, so to say, but I live on a ridge line or a hill line, however you want to call it, and even though a lot of people like down the road, for like 5 or 10 minutes down the road from me, they live at kind of like more of a plain area, and they get a breeze and stuff, but they don't get what I get up here. Because I was kind of talking with one of the guys I knew. I said, man, I need to get me one of those little small generator things, like looks like a screwed up remote control airplane, and put a couple up across here. I said, you know, I wouldn't get no kilowatts off of it or nothing like that, but even though with the gentle breeze, you know, I would still get a good amount of wind that blows through here that would spin the wheel, that would, you know, crank out at least a little bit of electricity. But I haven't done it yet. I don't know why I haven't, but I haven't. Oh, I got indigestion. My lunch is coming up. But there's just a lot of things we're still working on around here, getting things lined out, set up, you know, getting our growing boxes going, and, you know, this and that. And now for the next 14 to 18 days, we're going to be roughly in the temperature range that we're supposed to be in. Like today's like 70 plus degrees. You know, tomorrow's supposed to be 55, 65, which is not too bad. And then after that, we're going to be like in the 45, 55 range, and the temperature is going to be like 30 at nighttime. Well, not 30, but around 30-ish in the nighttime. So we're going to be kind of getting back to where we should be at, which is going to stunt a lot of the stuff around here, because for the past week or so, it's been like in the upper 60s and 70s, and all the plants are like, oh, it's springtime. And then it's going to have that stunt come in and be like, oh, I showed you. So, yeah, it's going to... Damn bug flew in my mouth. Like a gnat. Whew. But anyway, we're going to have temperatures where they're supposed to be at, so a lot of the plants around here and the trees are going to be like, oh, wait a minute, I thought it was springtime already. No, not yet. But my only worried concern is this is almost like April-ish kind of weather we've been having the past week or so, and I'm worried that the morels had started to pop up and ahead of schedule, and I'm afraid that my window for picking morels is kind of shot now. I haven't gone out to my spot and looked yet. I guess I need to get online on Facebook and one of the groups I belong to and say, hey, has anybody seen any morels pop up yet? Because if anybody says, oh yeah, we found a couple here and there, then my ass is going to my little secret spot and I'm going to see if there's anything popping up. Because if anybody else has found some already, then my areas, you know, they're already up and going. Hopefully the deer hasn't got to it, because where I go picking a lot of times, there's always a bunch of deer traffic, and deers love mushrooms, so that's my only concern. But other than that, really, I mean, I'm not really too worried. I am, but I'm not. There's just so many things still we gotta do, things to get prepared for, get things started going. Well, you can't push Mother Nature. You can only get so many things going as allowed. My mother-in-law yesterday asked me, she goes, have you put any plants out for gardening? I'm like, yeah, I got some potatoes and I got some onions put out. I said, but that's all you can really do, besides maybe some kale and broccoli and cauliflower and well, you wouldn't put peas out until about March, April, so even that, you know, you really can't, you're limited on that as well. So, but what are you gonna do? I just know that I've been scouring my yard looking for dandelions popping up, but I'm seeing dandelions pop up in other places. And matter of fact, yeah, I don't see nothing yet. No dandelion in my side yard or nothing. But I will say one thing. My little elderberry plant I put over here, it's starting to get some more growth on it, and the little leaves are starting to come out on it, and hopefully the weather doesn't stunt that. My big elderberry plant, I don't see nothing budding on that. No sign of leafage or anything like that, so that's good. At least my big elderberry bush / plant knows that, you know, not to jump the gun like a lot of these maples around here. My maple tree here, it's flowered and budded and everything, and surprisingly the pollen has not hit me like it has normally. I did have a little bit of a sinus migraine-ish and a little bit of drainage about a week or so ago, but it wasn't like what it normally would have been like in the April or May time frame. I'm kind of looking across my yard. I'm trying to see if I got any cones up. I can't tell if it's leaves over there on the ground or this is the cone flowers. I can't tell. It's probably leaves. Yeah, I've been scouring looking for dandelions so I can make my jelly. That's always a great thing, a great seller. People love it, because usually you tell them you have dandelion jelly, their first thought of it is like, ooh, that sounds nasty, until they taste it and they're like, oh, this is really good. I want more and I want some. And yeah, that's usually one of the things that whenever I make it, it goes pretty damn quick. So it is what it is. I know that me and Adam were supposed to go down to Whitaker's this past weekend, but with my power out, my internet out, and everything, it'd come on, it'd go out, it'd come on, it'd go out, and I didn't have anything fully activated for him wise, like internet wise, until about Sunday afternoonish, and I didn't even bother calling him because I figured he would have went anyway without me. But I don't know, I haven't talked to him yet. Do you know my grass is starting to grow pretty good around the yard, certain spots. Other parts of the yard looks like it's fine. And wild onions or wild garlic, however you want to call it, man, I got clumps all over the place, which is great because you know, push come to shove, I guess I always dig them up and make me as my grandma would call it, a wild onion soup. She's had me go out when I was a kid and dig a bunch of them things up, and she'd clean them off real good and cut them up, and she'd make a homemade soup with it, and kind of like a cream of onion kind of thing, but it was the wild ones he grew in the yard. I kind of miss. I guess I need to make it myself. I know how to do it. I just haven't done it, and I don't know. I guess I need to shut my ass up and turn the thing off and take my trash out and pick up a few more things around the yard, and I'll download this sometime this evening and I'll have it posted before midnight, and some of y'all might see it, some of y'all might not, but it is what it is. So y'all have a great night, great day, what's left of it. Have a great night, and you might see me again sometime this week, you might not. Don't know, I just gotta see what takes place. But until then, have a great day. Keep your nose clean, your powder dry, and everything should be okay. See you later.